Alright, here we are with another video. This time it's wheel bearings on the 2014 800 Razor. Didn't know that Polaris bearings only lasted 600 miles because Polaris don't put any grease in the flipping things. But you can see right there, that's just a bad bearing. This side over here I've already done, and you can see that it's got zero run out just about in that thing. I mean, it's like tight. And also the shock squeak problem with these. On the shock, there's these little spacers in here, and on the inside it's kind of hard to tell. I'll get right up in there. There's an O-ring on that spacer. It gets dry, or it gets too tight when this arm goes up and down and it articulates around that bolt. It squeaks. So just re-lube that, put some anti-seize on the bolt, which is a good thing to do anyway. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start tearing this side down, and we'll see exactly how bad that is. Also, I went and bought those machined integrations bearing greasing tools for this, and I tell you what, Machined Integrations got this thing just perfect, man. It works great. You put it in there, and believe it or not, like I've seen on YouTube and other videos, people putting upwards around 30 pumps of grease in there. Well, this one took about 25 on that side, and that's a brand new bearing. So I've got the rest of the bearings in the freezer, chilling. Shrink them down a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this tore down. I know y'all don't want to watch another this is how you take apart 4 or 5 nuts and bolts, so we're going to skip that part and just jump ahead to where I get it tore down, and we'll press this thing out. Alright, now we're at the point where everything's all tore down, and we're just going to take a look at that ball joint real quick. Okay, and you want to check your boots for any tears while you got it down here. You think Polaris would put a grease fitting right there. Maybe even one back there. And there is the hub. And looking at this bearing, you see I'm moving that race in and out. So that's definitely shot. This one from the other side, but to get this brake rotor off, you got to press these wheel studs. You got to press these wheel studs out, and I prefer using a press for that because I hate banging on them. Yeah, you can probably tap on the lug nuts and get them out, but still, press would be better. Even pressure, and just they come right out. They go back in the same way, you know. Brake rotor, I don't know, looks alright, I guess. But we're also going to be putting pads in this thing and cleaning that caliper up. Now we're going to go over here and press this thing out. See how that goes. Done got the snap ring out, by the way. There's the old one. Looks like it's in good shape, but you know what? These springs are like a buck. Change it. Now me personally, I'm putting new hubs and everything on this thing, front and rear. Now you notice these are the upgraded hubs. From the old ones were thinner here and were breaking. And I wasn't sure if that was done on this razor or not, so I went ahead and just bought them. You know what? Because, like I said, if you own one of these razors, it's going to cost you money, and you need a few bucks to own one anyway if you're going to keep it maintained properly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to build this back up. We're going to build this back up with a whole nother knuckle. And then when he gets his lock and ride for the back, he'll be able to take a spare hub and knuckle assembly with a new bearing with him on the trail. And we're going to put all new ball joints in there so we can have all this stuff on the trail and all the tools to do it. So, but let's get this pressed out. Now, when I'm pressing these out, there's the old one that came out the other side. It's shot too. But if you go to AutoZone or Pet Boys or whoever it is that has a tool loaner program, and you just get one of these basic bearing and seal driver kits, this is more than enough to be able to press these bearings out with. And like I said, if you're going to continue to own your machine year after year after year after year, I mean, this is stuff that you're just going to have to buy. I mean, you're going to need it. It's going to come in handy. It makes the job a lot easier. And I'm not using the shaft because, you know, don't really need to. But take this, flip it upside down, set it right in there on your bearing. Just make sure you got it. Make sure you're going to get it set up on your blocks correctly. If you don't want to, you just want to catch the edge. You don't want to get those blocks in there too far, because then it just stops your bearing from coming out. You know what I am going to do though? Give me 1 second here. And that's a lot better. That's a lot quicker than trying to pump it up. So let me reset this. Alright. See, look at that. Comes right out, no problems. And there it is. So now let's look at this bearing. Look, you see the race separating? Even feels crappy. Won't even hardly turn. Look at that. Oh well. Junk. But yeah, if you freeze your bearings, like I've had mine in the deep freezer all night. I mean, you don't need to do that, go to that extreme, but you know, a couple hours in the deep freeze, shrink them up a little bit. And when you put them in, you will have to use a little bit of Loctite blue. They do recommend that. Well, Polaris says red, but let me see. I'm looking into my crystal ball, and if I use red, I'll probably never get them out again. So what we'll do is we'll set this in there just like that, and what the washers are for here is to shim this side up so it's nice and level, and then when I go to press that bearing in, it'll go in nice and straight. So we will do that, and then we'll come back with the grease procedure on it. But that's how the bearing comes out, and it goes back in the same way just from the other side. Just make sure you get it straight. 3 strips of Loctite blue, snap ring, and it's back together. So let me get that done, and we'll come back and we'll show you this tool in action. Okay, I don't know if you caught any of that, but the camera fell off the table and out come the battery, so we're going to go ahead and try this again. At the same time, I'm going to try and keep track of how many pumps of grease I put into this. There's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. You can see the grease starting to come out around that. Yeah. So that was 27 pumps. 27. You just pull it out like that. Now you can see inside of here where that grease is filled up in there, making it nice and full of grease now. But 27 pumps of grease. That's ridiculous. You know, I believe that, you know, companies need to cut costs where they can cut costs, but I mean, when you're talking about grease, I mean, that's a consumable. And from my years in fleet management and fleet maintenance heavy trucks, cars, light trucks, buses, Class 8 trucks. Last time I checked, grease was a consumable, it was a write-off, it's a shop supply. So, I don't know, but there it is. And now I'm going to go ahead and hang this knuckle back on the razor. Well, I've already went through and greased all these other points while it was apart, so the next time you see it, it'll be all together, and then you'll see that difference in that bearing. Alright, wheels back on, brakes are installed. Here's the old brakes. Getting kind of thin down there, but got new ones on there now. What we put on there was some brake pads from factory spec. Everything else was Polaris parts. And like I said, there's like almost zero play in that front end. So that took care of that. Now the next thing we're going to do on this machine is the rear. But the rear is getting bushing kits. And I got the bushing kits from All Balls Racing. You need one of these kits for the 2014 Razor 800. It's the 132690. One kit for each side. One kit does one side. So right there is about 50 bucks. $25 a piece. $25 a piece versus some broke stuff out on the trail. Wise investment. And I'll show you why. Now, not only are these bearings bad, all the play in that. Bearings don't seem to be too bad, but it's a part. They're $35. Change them. Grease them. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if your machine is factory and you ain't had it apart, there ain't no grease in there. And you can see right down in there. I get that bolt angle. Watch that knuckle move more than the trailing arm. See that? That's a bad bushing. These up here don't seem to be moving. But they're going to get changed anyway. Because it's $25. Might as well just change it. This side, not too shabby. But same thing. See, there's some play in there. And that's not good. So that'll be the next thing we do on this machine. And I will probably start that deal tomorrow. So shortly after that, there'll probably be a video up on that too. And like I said, we'll check our shafts, make sure the boots are good. They feel good, but you want to make sure there's no cracks in them. And the other thing too, is you notice on this machine, I've got, and everybody says, oh, stay away from the big bad header wrap. But I'll tell you what, this machine has gotten so hot. Back up on this side, on the inside of the cab, and up here on the outside, it's just blazing hot. Almost like you swear it's gonna friggin' melt. And I was following this machine as we were rolling through the grass and the weeds and all that other stuff. Started seeing hot embers coming off of this. And the last thing I want to do is be the reason for starting a forest fire, because here in Tennessee we just had that big old bad fire. So I wrapped it up with some header wrap, and it's still getting a little warm to touch, but it's not throwing any hot embers off on the trail anymore. But if anybody's got any fixes for that, if it's a power mod or a computer chip or a reprogram, whatever, let me know. We'll get it and we'll throw it on here. And we'll see what it does, because I'd love to be able to figure that out and find out why this machine exhaust, I mean, and at night you can see it's red hot. I mean, red hot. Now my 900 out there, it doesn't do that. Yeah, catch that dog right there. It doesn't do that. So I don't know, it's just, it doesn't seem right to me, especially when, you know, fuel tank ain't too far from there, and you got all these other hoses, and I'm sure, you know, I don't know, I would think that that's okay. I mean, I've seen four-wheelers have some red hot pipes before too, but I just don't know if running that hot, and the temperature gauge is running normal too. It's cycling good, fans are coming on and off real good, so like I said, I don't know. There's got to be something with that. So if you have any ideas with that, let me know. But until tomorrow, or until I start doing this rear end section on this, let me know what you think. Like I said, all the parts were Polaris parts that went on the front. Then, as you've seen in the video, there was 27 pumps of grease. And I can't say enough about these machined integrated bearing greasers. They're really good things to have. But unfortunately, on the 800, you need the 1628 for the front, and you got to have the 1615 for the rear, because the bearings are two different inner diameter sizes. Now this 1615, it does all four wheels on the 900. So if you got a 900 and an 800, it's, you know, you're gonna need them, buy them. This is their, if you can get them at a deal, get them, but I believe they normally run 60 bucks a piece, 50, something like that. Maybe you can catch them on eBay cheaper. They are on eBay. Like I said, these are all Polaris parts that we're using, and this here's for the 900. And see, 600 miles on the 900, and I got a bad rear wheel bearing, and it's got 600 miles, and it's a 2016. This is the second season for that machine, and the bearing has already got out on it because there's no grease in them. So I can't say it enough, grease the bearings. Every year, pull the wheels off, pull that outer hub off, shoot some grease to it. I mean, you got to do an annual on it anyway, which pretty much taking the whole friggin' bottom half apart to get to everything, the drive shaft. You might as well just pull the wheels, pull the hubs off, and throw a little grease in there. But like I said, until I get this back going, thanks for watching. Questions, comments, likes. No one likes dislikes. Hey, let me know. Let me know what you think. Shoot me some ideas. And on that exhaust, like I said, if there's anybody that knows anything about that, let me know. Like I said, we'll try it. You know, whatever. See what it does. But thanks for watching.